recording. Beautiful. All right. On 3, 2, 1. We are speaking with the one and only legendary Mark Farner. The new DVD is called From Chile with Love. Comes out on February 23rd. And he will be on Alice Cooper's new Detroit Stories album coming out also in 2021. And as we say in Montreal, bonjour, Mark. How are you?
Very good, Mitch. I'm glad to be here with you, brother. I'm proud to be sucking air, dude.
Yeah, well, all of us are at this point. I mean, with everything going on. And by the way, you also have the GoFund Me campaign for the Mid-Michigan flood victims. Let me start with that because charity begins at home, and that's I think supersedes anything else we'll talk about today. Talk to me about setting up that GoFundMe page and giving back to the community and making sure that the people in your home state have resources and have what they need.
Yeah, that's it, Mitch. And my wife Lisa and I, we watched. It was on the news like one day, and then it was gone. And but friends of ours that live in the area sent videos to us, and some of the devastation. I can't even imagine. All your shit is just washed away, gone. It's gone. And Lisa and I both said, "Man, I wish there was something we could do." Well, we both agreed. Let's try to, launch a GoFundMe. And the idea is if you could just give a lot of little bits will work out, because the Michigan Red Cross is there on the scene taking care of the families and those who are the ones in need of this. So we try to get the money to them and try to encourage people to help out Michiganders, especially. This is our people in our home state. And we appreciate anybody that gives a little bit. It's Mark Farner's Mid-Michigan Flood Relief on the GoFundMe. And if you can give $1, do that, and we appreciate it. And if you can only send up a prayer, we appreciate that too.
And I'm glad you're bringing awareness to it, because I'm up here in Montreal, and I actually hadn't heard of it. So if it wasn't for your efforts, I wouldn't have known. So it's exactly what it should be. And there is a video on YouTube called Mark Farner's Mid-Michigan Flood Relief. So go watch that, and then it'll get you over to the GoFundMe page, and you can donate, because I didn't even know the story. It didn't make our news, so it's shocking. Yeah,
it is shocking. And the people, thousands and thousands that were affected by this, they're still trying to figure out if there's ever going to be a lake again there, and that they're talking, well, might be too costly to put a dam in, bring the lake back. We might just have houses on hills and crazy kind of stuff, man.
Wow, that is unbelievable. And
appreciate you mentioning it, brother. And
yeah,
Mitch.
Well, you gotta support the people. That's important. And before we just get over From Chile with Love, let me just do the quick Alice Cooper detour. He of course has the Detroit Stories coming out very soon, and he's got what's his name, Johnny B on it, and he's got a bunch of the guys from Detroit. Talk to me about sort of reconnecting with the Coop and being on that album and having sort of, well, a whole album about Detroit stories, which,
Yes. Well, to be, side by side with Wayne Kramer and, talking old times, brother. I remember back when we first saw the MC5, and they were like, whoa, they were pushing the limits. And I loved those guys. And I did latch onto that guitar sound, man. These ears were loving what Kramer was doing. And I told him, I expressed myself to him, told him what a fan I am. And it kind of surprised him. But we just, we got talking fishing. And we got like when I was with Eric, never talked music. We talked everything but music. So, but we had a great time in the studio and with Johnny B. Obadanjic he lays down the law. He puts a groove so deep, if you standing anywhere near it, you're going to fall in it. That is a deep groove. And the bass player, Paul Randolph, did a wonderful smack job on these tunes. And not only did he play his ass off, he sang, dude. And I'm standing there, Mitch, next to him, and he's got this, he's like this big. He's 6 something, and I'm this little guy down here, 5'7", and I'm hearing this huge voice, and then the high notes that the guy can hit. I was going, holy mackerel, man, this guy's got it together. I asked him after our recording session, I asked him if he would play in my band. He accepted, and he is in my band now. So I got a rock funk band, and at least 3 of us are out of Michigan, and my drummer, who used to play for James Brown and Eric Gale band. He played, Memphis dude. I met him when we were out doing these shows, and we played with War, Grand Funk, and James Brown in Montgomery, Alabama street festival. And it was one of those throwdown things where I don't know how many thousands of people there, but we were all caught up in the spirit. It was real, real good. And Hubert has been with me ever since. So that was like 91, dude.
Wow. And by the way, speaking of MC5, I saw their MC50 tour. And I'm telling you, the guy's like he was 17 years old. He was shaking his bonbon and moving all over the place. It was a spectacular evening, that MC50. My God, was it good? I mean, that guy Wayne, man, he's got the goods. Speaking of getting the goods, let's talk about From Chile with Love. There are some teaser clips up there on YouTube, and you see it, and you just see this massive, massive crowd. Talk to me about the event and how you got to Chile and how South America is treating you. Because, we're an American band, and here you are in South America with a lot of love going on.
Right on. Yeah, the place that we recorded is in Santiago. It's called Teatro Caupolicán, and it is a big theater in the round, and almost like a Coliseum kind of. I remember when we played Royal Albert Hall in London, it kind of put me in mind of that the shape of it and the way it developed. But when we knew that we were going to be able to record this, I was so excited, man, because the people, every time I've been to Chile, anytime I've been to South America, the people greet us with such joy and such love and such open arms. So, man, we went out on the stage, and it was like, oh my God, I was adrenalized, and I rose 3 feet above the platform, and I stayed there the whole show. I was floating across that stage, dude. And the people, they it's a Hispanic speaking country, but they sang every word in American English just perfectly. And loud, so loud at times it took over the PA. So the excitement, that kind of adrenaline, and that kind of pump, emotionally, you get caught up in it, and it's caught in film. And I can't wait for people to see it and to start talking about how these Chilean fans rock their asses off. Yeah, serious rockers.
Yeah, they really were. And talk to me, though, about capturing live performances, because obviously the live album from 1970 was a milestone for you and the band, Grand Funk. How is it now still going out there and delivering the goods? How important is the live show and the live performance to you?
Well, the live show is it. That what has made everything else possible. My connection with the audience is it's supernatural. It really is, because I can just be thinking something and they've got it. I'm thinking, holy crap, man! Or like, what frequency is this? It's a frequency of love, But the the fans, they bring it out of you.
Right.
They uh, the more they elaborate, the more you elaborate, and that's just how it works. In South America, we've played, in Chile, Brazil, um, Argentina. We've played Peru, and all of these beautiful people come and rock their asses off. Man, I'm telling you, they love American rock and roll down there. They just love rock and roll.
Yep.
But they're serious. They're very serious. And they want to know about certain songs. What did you mean about this song? I'm in an interview with them, and they want to know what the song, what I was saying. Was you really saying this? And it's about the love, man. I mean, my songs have been largely about saving the planet, about stopping the wars, and about people getting together and let's love each other like there is no color, there is no creed, there is no other race, there's just us, and we all love each other, and we're all going to work together and try to save this damn thing.
We are, in fact, talking a little bit about that, because back in the day, in the early 70s, when you heard a song as a listener, you had to interpret it and make it your own. Then, of course, yeah. MTV came and ruined that and put put the pictures in everybody's head. When a fan asks you what a song means, or how can I put this? Do you feel a little bad trying to explain it to him? Don't you just want to say, hey, just listen to it and get the meaning you want?
Mitch, brother, you hit the nail on the head. And I am so elated that you mentioned the fact that when MTV came along and the pictures started coming with the music, it went in the shitter, man. It really did. It went in the shitter. I talked to Jacques on WNEW, New York, that they did this thing where they polled 100 people, Mitch. They wanted to know what their definition was of the song by Simon and Garfunkel, Bridge Over Troubled Water. They got 100 diversely different definitions. And it was like, dang, ding, the bell went on, and I went, yeah, because it's just like when somebody reads a book and they go to see the movie, dude, and then they say, man, the movie sucked. The book was a lot better. You know why? Because their imagination was running that film, and our imagination is so much greater than anything they could ever create on a computer. But people don't realize this, and people have been kind of shut off from that, brother. I think that the advent of video with the music has put that music behind times. It's way back here when it should be advanced into another stage of love and another stage of communication, and it should be way beyond where we're at. We're kind of, like stuck in kindergarten here with this shit.
It's just funny because every so often I'll hear a song and somebody will say to me, oh, that song is so sad and tragic. And I'm like, oh, I took it as being fun. And they're like, no, it means right. This. And I go, well, not to me, it doesn't. Right? It confuses you. Talk to me a little bit about brand and band here for a second, because you've got Grand Funk that still has a brand and still goes out there. But there is something about the original and being a band, right? Because we've with the talk of Eddie Van Halen passing away, there's a lot of people saying, "Hey, Wolf, you got to go start another Van Halen." It's like, no, there's something about band.
Yeah, brother, and the unique chemistry that is only found in those three individuals. It cannot be reproduced by any. If you replaced one of them, it's not going to sound the same. And you know what I'm talking about. And I think that's why we're talking about this. Is some bands go out and they advertise on the marquee that it's the whatever band, but you go and they might have one original member of that band. And I was talking with Gunnar Nelson, and he was guest DJ in Cleveland, And he called me and he says, Farner, man, I just found something out. And he says, I got to tell you, dude, did you know that there is 126 different groups that all call themselves the Platters? I said, what? He says, yeah, dude, there's one guy that owns the trademark. He licenses each one of these 126 bands that go out as the Platters, and he takes a piece of each one. But there's no original members. And so it's taking advantage of the fans. And then when bands do that, and they have a bitch slapping in a fight and they divorce each other, and and maybe two of the guys who didn't write 92% of the music go out and they call themselves the name of the band, but
Well,
they
we
put the
let's
other
see.
guy off because
We've
they
had
sued him in
two
a
Great Whites, we've had
court.
two Warrens, we've had two L.A. Guns, we've had, you know, it goes on and on and on. At least
Yeah,
Blackfoot, when they started up the second Blackfoot, they were very clear about it. They said, "Hey, we are starting a second Blackfoot to bring it to the new
yeah,
generation." Whereas
yeah,
other ones, eh,
exactly. Yeah, dude. I feel the same way. It's got to be that recipe calls for these ingredients. You can't substitute any ingredient.
no aspartame in our bands, please.
That's right.
You know, talk to me in terms of live in Chile. Sorry, not live in Chile. I got the name wrong. It is, of course, from Chile with Love, not live from Chile. Talk to me about representing those songs because you do some of the old songs. Do you transform them? Do you have to stay faithful? Do you have to markinize them? How do you present them and keep them so that the fans go, "Yep, that's what I like."
I keep them as close to the record as I possibly can. That is my goal every night is to reproduce the record that they heard on the radio. I don't want to improvise on a lead. I don't want to extend a solo or throw another bridge in there or anything. I want it to be like when they heard that thing end, that's how it's going to end on my stage. And I think it's very important that bands do this for the fans because those fans got to know you by listening to that track on the radio or on that CD or the download, whatever, they by listening over and over and over, and they love it. So if you change one little thing, they're gonna know it, and you're gonna hear about it. Yep.
Oh yeah, no. They want that faithful reproduction. I am going to go to the obvious question, and I know you've answered this a million times, but talk to me about the importance of an iconic song like "We're an American Band" because it puts you on the map, but at the same time, it also sort of tags you because everything you do after is sort of measured by that. A record company will say like, "That's nice, Mark, but I don't hear another 'We're an American Band.'" Or the producer will be like, "Hey, can you do like you did with Todd on the..." Talk to me about
Right.
having a big song and how it positively affects the band, but also how it sort of can sometimes be a little bit negative.
Well, yeah, I can tell you firsthand when American Band came in to our scope, the there at the time, Lynn Goldsmith, our publicist, she said, "Why don't you guys write a song about who you are? You're an American band." So that triggered Brewer's mind for the words, and he brought words in to rehearsal, and he had the song like two notes on a guitar, da 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 da, like that, and I was hearing the chord progressions that I wrote for the song. I was hearing them, and I was hearing background vocals. And when we got down to actually constructing the song, I said, "Wait, wait, wait! This song has got to have a cowbell." Brewer goes, "I don't have a cowbell."
Every
I said,
every song has to have a cowbell. That's the rule.
"Hell yeah!" I said, dude, we got to have a cowbell on this song. He says, okay, I'll pick one up on the way to rehearsal tomorrow. I said, no, man, pick up 6 and we will pick out the best one. We'll get the one that's closest to being in tune with this song. And so that's how the cowbell got there. And the intro drum lick I wrote. I heard it in my head and I told Brewer how to play this, showed him. And he said, man, I can't do that because you're going to wear my foot out, man. That right leg can't do that. I said, yes, if there's anybody in this world that can do it, I am looking at him, dude. You got to do this. So he kept practicing, and in 2 days he had it down. And I think he still got it down today.
Yeah, he still does. Talk to me just real quick about working with Todd Rundgren, because he worked with one of my favorite bands, Cheap Trick, and he just brings something different. He doesn't create radio singles, but he also doesn't create the stuff that's so weird. He's got this he's got a very interesting approach, unique approach. Talk to me about working with Todd.
Well, he's very down to earth, you know. He's got respect for us, and that was very obvious. And we have respect for him, and that camaraderie that we developed. It was like he became part of the band when he was there, and we would be in there playing our hearts out, doing these takes, and he's kicked back in the chair. He's got his feet up on the console. He's reading the book. It's like, this is what he does. And he doesn't have to work hard for it. It just comes to him. It's natural. And when we did Locomotion and he came out there and started clanging the ashtrays together and singing those real high falsetto parts, man, it was like we had fun with it. And Todd is just a fun guy. He loves having anything I've ever seen with him. He always has to throw something in there a little sideways just so it's fun.
Todd definitely needs to know that. Let me just quickly remind the folks that From Chile with Love is available at markfarner.com. You can go into the store and order that now. It comes out in February. Let me get over to rock and roll soul music. Talk to me about staying active in creating new music and not just saying, hey, I'm the Grand Funk guy. Here are the 15 best songs. Give me your money and off I go. And you go, no. I got new stuff to say. I'm going to tell you some new stuff. Why is that important? Why is that vital as an artist to not just live on the past?
Well, it shows the fans that they put their faith in you, and you keep delivering, and you keep bringing it to them. And like this DVD with Love, there's 18 performances. There's 2 bonus videos and 5 bonus tracks of songs that have never been released before. And there's some good music on there. I mean, they're not all done in a studio in LA or, New York City or someplace. A lot of them are just songs that we shot down to this guy for a keyboard part. It came back. We put a bass part on it over here, but it brings us up to speed as far as the topic. The narrative in the song is according to the way the world is when we write it, and that's ever changing. But it's also a reminder when we sing that song to them, it reminds them of when a smell can remind them of certain things, certain songs, certain music events. And I think it's very important, as we talked about earlier, to stay to the structure of the song when you're doing it live, but to also keep the new stuff coming so that they look forward to it. I would get pretty sick of hearing the Kingsmen doing Louie Louie the rest of my life. We gotta have a little change up here. So the talent's
Yeah,
there, so
it's
why
funny.
not?
You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. Because if you don't play Louie, they go home and they go, they didn't fucking play Louie. But if you play, if you, I mean, it's the conundrum. Of course, folks, follow Mark at Real Mark Farner on Twitter at Real Mark Farner, and on Instagram it is Mark Farners with an S_American band. Mark, toujours un plaisir, as we say in Montreal. Always a pleasure. And folks, do pick up the new DVD and follow Mark, and hopefully we will see you on the road. But it's not looking very good right now.
Right. Well, and I just wanted to make a mention that the pre-sales will all be autographed by me. If someone goes to the site, buys, because the release date is February 23rd, up until February 23rd, the people who buy ahead of time get an autographed copy, and $3 from each one of the DVDs sold goes to it goes to Veterans Support Foundation, which helps the veterans, United States here and Canada. The Vietnam veterans started it, but a lot of veterans come back and they can't develop this societal relationship. They're so far out of touch. They had to become this other person for so long. So the Veteran Support Foundation gives them a place to live, puts them in home, has helped thousands and thousands of our veterans who otherwise, who knows what would have happened to them. But because of the love, this is by veterans, for veterans. So I just like to, if I can give an 800 number for anybody
Of
that knows
course.
a veteran that needs some help, it's 800-882-1316, 800-882-1316. If you know a veteran that needs some help, get that number to them.
Yeah, and by the way, I'll just say this because I was born in the '60s. We have come a long way from how we treated veterans in the Vietnam War to now. And it's nice to see that we've done that 180, and we don't. Well, I don't even want to say what we were doing back in the '60s, but it's that 180 has been a long time coming.
Good word, my friend. Good word.
Thank you, Mark. Toujours un plaisir. Always a pleasure. We'll do this again soon. And thank you for following me on Twitter.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it, Brother Mitch. If I don't see you in the future, I'll see you in the pasture.